start with
Guys,
the-
thanks again for putting this together. You did a really good job. Appreciate it, Rick.
Rick worked on that for 2 weeks straight.
I know.
We'll leave that there. We'll leave that mess as for Dave.
I got this black one. Didn't do all of them. Made some black dot on mine. I know. Maybe it means something. I don't know.
Interesting thought.
No, it's just, I just had excellent, that's really.
Thank you.
I got page 1 and page 4, what's that in between?
Because there's other stuff in there. that-
Oh.
You got any left over down there? Yeah, there's a change. Like
Yeah.
10% I can change that. That's all you.
But choked on it.
Okay.
That's all you.
I just need 1 and 4 is what you're saying.
That's all you need. Yeah, the 2 and 3 are, it shows percentage of changes. I don't do all those. I can tell you though, if I do have one. All right, the full report, this is through July 31st of this year. We did have an early sale or a late sale membership starting July 15th. That, we have it here as August 1st. That's how I have it in my QuickBooks. I haven't changed over to July 15th yet. We brought in another $2,700 last year. If you see on July, through July 15th, January through July 15th. That just hadn't been entered at that time last year. I think we did maybe 4,000 or 5,000 last year during that July period. So our memberships, as this shows, we're 11,000 ahead of what we did last year. Though I said the July has not been entered yet, and I said that's another 4 or 5. So we might be at maybe 8,000, 7,000, 8,000 over what we did last year in memberships, which is a little disappointing. But again, I would relate that to 3 bad years in a row. People think maybe they didn't get their money's worth out of their memberships. We'll just pay as we go. I think that happens. I would hope next year, the way it historically has happened, we will have an increase in sales and memberships next year because of the good summer we've had this year.
These were up.
We are up.
Yeah.
Walk-ins, which is near the bottom, the total, we have brought in 221,124 compared to 157 last year, so that's around 64,000 more we have brought in from the year before. We've had pool rental come in, swim lessons, they're down a little bit, but not much from last year. And our gross profit as of today was $430,643 compared to last year to $341. That puts us up around $89,000 ahead of last year. Expenses. The expenses we have put in for, we've had one payroll, but we haven't had any payroll put in here for July. And there's some other things. I think 2015 we haven't put in any gas or electric yet, so that's a little bit skewed until we get all those figures. But right now you see our net as of now looking pretty good, though. Remember that we usually spend at least $200,000 in payroll, at least payroll a year, and maybe more this year because of being open a lot more.
Our payroll's gonna be up.
So overall, it's been a good summer, the best summer we've had in a while. Last year we netted. Last year we grossed $413,000 for the year, and we have approximately 3 weeks left of the season. So, and we've already brought in 430, so we're $17,000 ahead of what we grossed all of last year already, with 3 weeks to go in the season. So, I mean, the pie in the sky would be great to reach 500,000 gross for the year. That would be a decent year. We've had years as high as 575, close to 600,000. The last few years have been in the 400s, and last year was our worst gross we've ever had. You know, if it picks up again this year, it looks promising for us. So I think things overall are moving then again, with the wage increase that they keep having, and we've talked about it 100 times, if they keep increasing minimum wage, you know, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. And again, I don't see how they could put a minimum wage on a 3-month part-time operation to have to pay high school kids what an adult would be making in a factory maybe or somewhere. You know, it's just not fair to local communities to be able to have something for your citizens.
It's the reason they don't have after-school jobs anymore.
Yeah.
So, that's the pool report. Like I said, it's pretty decent year so far.
Questions on the pool report?
Jay, on our warm weather weekends,
Yep.
are we still seeing the tremendous daily walk-in the way that we were a month or so ago?
Towards the end of July, I honestly thought that the daily walk-in would be a little bit higher than it was. It's still good, and it beats anything we had last year. But it seemed, I guess I was telling the ladies the other day, I said, do you think it's vacation? People kind of come to the end of, but it wasn't as, it's not bad, but it was a little bit less than I thought it would.
Sometimes, believe it or not, it can get too hot.
Yeah.
And we went through that spell where we had great weather, and then it got really hot after that. And I was back here last Monday, and I'm thinking, we should be pretty crowded today.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really that many people there.
Last Sunday that you're talking about, a week ago Sunday, I was at the pool, and I was kind of surprised that it wasn't more crowded. Now, I was talking to a couple of the guards, and they said Sunday at 2 o'clock it'll get, and it probably did start to top out after 2, but that's why I came back and I started looking at the walk-ins and stuff. I don't know. I mean,
We had a decent day today, it looked like.
I think we
weekend, we had some
you get more walk-ins during the week. I mean,
Yeah.
our walk-in numbers during the week are incredible.
You scared them away.
We
You
were
were there,
scared
you
it was
scared them
going
away.
That's what was growing. I was hanging out outside.
So with all that pool talk, do you have a legislative request, Jay, or who has this?
Yes.
I have to transfer funds within the pool fund, $22,000, and this is covering, for concession supplies and for chemical supplies. We're just running out of that, so I'm moving money from, services into, operating materials and supplies. And that's $22,000, and that should be able to get us through for the rest of the
Just
year.
for concession and what else?
Chemicals, yeah, we're just using more than what we have in a long time.
Yes.
I do have a question. I know we ask this all the time, but if you know, when does the debt service fall off?
We got another 6 or 7 payments.
6 or 7 years then?
Yeah, we
2022,
borrowed it
isn't
in
it?
2002. We refinanced
Yeah.
it about.
It'd be 20 years, so 2022.
Yeah.
So, what's the dollar amount you paid towards
It's
it?
around 128,000.
Too bad that isn't now, but you could do it then. Put that back.
Well, last year we couldn't pay hardly any of it, so let's hope that this year we can pay a large chunk, if not all, or at least a large chunk of it, which helps us. We can do that.
Last year that whole debt service amount had to be paid for out of the general fund because of the weather and the revenue down at the pool. No, believe me, that'll be nice when we don't have that debt service anymore.
But we have, for the first 7, 8 years, we did pay 100% of it. And we have been able to meet our operating costs in 2 years too, so that's
I
better
thought
than
this-
what we did before.
I thought this potentially having that extra revenue for them. By then, there's gonna be
I
more.
mean, that could be a
payments.
decision that we make if you pass the income tax, if that's something you want to pay off, not, or just let it continue to pay as we go.
I think you just let it go.
Okay.
But what that would allow us then, Brian, is without that debt service payment, we could sock a portion of that away, so that like last year when we had all the maintenance things that needed to be
Right.
done, we could actually establish in the pool area of the budget, we could establish a line item for those type of things and sock a little away, and that way when we have, the money that we needed to, like, for last year, for those repairs and whatnot, we'd have it.
I mean, things though, I like to buy more umbrellas. I think
Right.
that's one of the best things we have there, and I'm sure a lot of people would love us to add more
Yep.
of those.
It'd be great to be able to put that money away, even if you squirreled it away for, 3 or 4 years, then even a big improvement that you want to do, then pull. I'm sure there's gonna be some improvements.
This year in knocking on wood has been pretty decent as far as repairs go.
Yeah.
And we did some painting on the slides. We're going to paint the Lee's River at the end of the year. There's some of the, but I already have the money for that too.
Gonna fix the concrete first, the bottom
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
tear it all out or redo it? or
No, we
just-
can't
just-
tear it all out, that would be just a lot of
good.
money, yeah. Cause we've caught on that, and that concrete is like 6 inches thick, and they go, you know what, for you to get a major leak or have to replace that, it's gotta be really bad, so, just, it's not as bad, I mean, it looks bad, but it's not as bad structurally, it's not as bad, so.
Fill in all the divots.
Okay?
It's rough on my feet.
Just swim through the lazy river against the
walk.
current.
I walk
No, I
it.
want you to swim against the
It's
current.
called lazy river because you're supposed to be on a raft.
Yeah, I'll let
Your
you
feet aren't
float.
supposed to touch on there.
You walk it, I walk it every.
It's an exfoliator.
Yeah. That one section is bad.
Yeah, one,
That's
yeah.
bad, yeah.
File it
Yeah,
down.
just walking through the river needs shade down.
Yeah.
And the last time I was here, I told you about the ash trees. Well, I had someone come out and look at this huge ash tree we have to see if they could save it. They weren't sure if they could, they recommended me to someone else, but then during the conversation, they said, over time, you will lose every blue spruce tree that you have in the park. And really? Yeah, they're dying everywhere. Nobody's growing them. There's no cure for it. We have probably 11 or 12 blue spruce trees in the park, and eventually we'll lose every one of them.
Wow.
I think Rick was in here, he said he had cut down 1 or 2, and they start to die on the inside, the oldest needles, and it works their way out near the bottom. The oldest part of the tree starts to die, and right now they have not. Do you have any blue spruce?
Yeah, I cut down 2 of them.
Yeah, they're all dying, and we're gonna lose eventually every one, and that's,
What's causing it?
It's just another disease that's out there. I don't think it's a disease, it's not like the ash borer where it's killing the trees, it's like a fungus or something. And they also have killed some other pine trees.
I've lost 4 big trees, pines.
All the pine trees around ball fields are all dying.
Black walnut.
You say we have about 12.
And they're
First one
big.
cost $75.
Big, and
The last one
they've
used
been
to cost
donated.
To take them down and stuff like that. Cost you that to take them down?
Oh yeah, it costs a lot. If they get too big, it costs a lot of money to have someone.
But the one this year wasn't that big, but it's still $300. And I got the super price on it, according to this one guy, he said he
So-
paid 400 and something.
I don't know what we're gonna do. We may just stay there until they completely die, just so it looks good.
You just keep cutting the bottom branches off and then
Yeah.
the top.
My neighbors got 3 in the backyard, same thing. Started about a year and a half ago, they're about half dead.
It's a bad thing. That's all I have unless somebody has some other items.
Under other, yes, Ronnie?
I got some mixed messages last week, or last month, We talked about, charging $500 for the 3 hours at the pool. And, I first got the impression that it was not about the money, but it was other groups, needed to charge a nominal amount. But, then I heard Mr. Kelly say that if you couldn't kill the event, he at least wanted to make some money off of it. So, is it really about the money, or is it about, because 3 weeks ago, I think it was, I asked Ms. Cole, because she's chairman of the committee, I asked her about, I made a counter offer to, because we've been furnishing the last 5 years a free corporate sponsorship that we charge other people $500 for. You know, we've been providing that. And, you know, if we couldn't do maybe a switch, and if there is actually some cost involved as far as the chlorine, you know, we pay for that. And I hadn't, you know, that was about 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't got an answer. And, so
Well, I did email you after I talked to Bob, right? Or I told you
No,
I wanted to,
no.
okay, okay. all right.
Well, you had emailed me, that the meeting that you were gonna miss.
Yeah.
You had emailed me then, not that even said.
And I misunderstood your question, so
Okay.
that was part of it. We had that discussion before you got here. I thought you wanted just to be, the $500 to be considered a sponsorship for the pool, so that there was something, recognition for the event, but that was a misunderstanding on my part.
When now Heath, I went to an event over the weekend, and you were there, Flags of Honor, you know, and that's something that should have been in Heath, but, you know, it wasn't even considered. You know, we used to have a Halloween event here. We used to have a Christmas event here, you know, and they were glad to do it. And it's not here no more. You know, it's other places, you know, and as chairman of the Parks Committee, why do you think, in your opinion, that those people are not here?
Well, I can't really speak for anyone else, other than, you know, I think.
Why
that-
do you think?
Well, I don't know, I think that, they felt there was some conflict, I don't know, because we did have questions about whether, you know, being in a government building and being back in the back, and I think that caused some hard feelings, I don't know, which wasn't the intent, but, you know, I can't speak for that group. I mean, I think there's been some hard feelings about other things from them, and I can't, you know, speak to that either, you know, with the whole Arts Council and everything, I think that started it, so.
Anybody else?
But-
I don't know, what do you think?
I think they weren't treated very well. That's what I think.
We opened the place up to them, what more is there? What do you want us to do?
Okay. I'll talk to them and see what I'll bring you an answer. I'll bring you an answer why they're not here.
And I wanted to say, Ron.
Seemed
too.
happy when I was here at that, when we wandered through, everybody seemed happy. I didn't
They
know
were.
there was a problem.
There's a reason they stopped coming. You know, and, for one thing, the auditors complained about the electric that it was using, which, you know, that's on a, what, $14-17 million budget. You know what, that's not a blank, and that's not a blink of the eye. And as a group, you've not been conducive to encouraging events here, you know, because I think they'd be here. They enjoyed what they were doing. They didn't ask for anything. It's like we don't ask for anything at the pool except, you know, and if Bob does use extra chlorine, I'd be glad to pay for it. You know, the group would.
I think that it was bigger than that, Ronnie, and someone else can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was about the fact that having a cost, because it's still a nominal fee compared to what it would cost to rent the pool. I think we've had that discussion, so I think the city is still sponsoring that event because they are offering that at a nominal fee, because that's not been done for any other group that I'm aware of. So I think that there is still commitment by the city to be a partner and to help with that, but I think it was just a matter of, there is a cost of doing business, and it's not something that's easy to quantify, because it's no additional staffing, it's additional staffing after the event to clean up. And I think, you know, Shelley's the one that threw out that number, I think that came from her, and I think the city was thinking, that seems fair, you know, we'll accept that, so somebody else can weigh in on that, but that was just my take on it.
To rent our pool for 2 hours, it's like $2,500.
Yeah.
And, $500 is really a lot less than $2,500.
Well, I mean, as I recall, and I mean, how many months ago has this been now? 2 months, maybe, since when Shelley was here. I mean, I kind of remember it similar to you. I mean, you know, it was said, well, okay, what would it be if you rented the place out? Well, it'd be over $2,000. Well, they're not renting the whole place
Right.
out, and it's not for a whole, for a long period of time, after the pool's closed or whatever. And yeah, I mean, we kicked around and threw around some numbers, and I think it was 500, 250, 500, something like that. I remember.
You said 2 or 300.
305.
Somebody else,
Yeah.
but the mayor, you said 200 or 300, is
Yeah.
what you said, and somebody else came up with a number, and it may have been Jeff, that said 500. And I know she.
Shelley came up with 500.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Shelley
was
did.
Shelley, I don't think it was her number, she agreed to that, and of course I disagreed with it, but.
I think, I remember like you, there were a lot of numbers being thrown out, but then Shelley said, okay, how about $500, and that's, she's the one that
If-
said, drew
if
the line in the
that's-
sand.
And I think too,
She said her budget
and I don't
could go
remember,
$500.
and I don't remember if it was in that meeting or if it was somehow later, if I was asked or something like that, or if Bob and I talked about it, if it came to Bob directly. I don't remember how it was, but the idea of when it would be paid came up, and I was in favor of it being paid after the event, after they've gotten their money from all of that, then
Yeah,
paying it after the event.
right.
Absolutely.
I don't remember if it was in that council meeting or sometime afterward, but I remember that aspect of it coming up too.
And I think that what's happening now to me is kind of why there is a concern when you start giving something away like that, because in the beginning, when you came to us, you offered to pay a fee, and I think that, the city's perspective was to give you a chance to get this off the ground, see if it even is anything that's viable. And I think that it's proven, it's very viable, and so now, so that it doesn't, I think it'll probably prevent the city from wanting to do that again, because it causes a lot of controversy,
Well,
trying to get it to something.
we
that's
met
more
last
reasonable.
Tuesday, and I told them, I said, if you have to pay, $3 a minute to have your event, that's, you've got my blessing. If you wanna pay it, you've got my blessing, and I wish it nothing but good, but I won't be a part of it. I mean, I was the one that came before y'all to begin with, to ask for that, and I don't think I'm being unfair in saying that, I just don't like what's happening. And if
Can
I
I
can't
ask
kill the
you-
event, if I can't kill the event, let me at least make some money off of it. That's right here on
Alright.
video.
Alright.
That's on video.
Let me
That's-
say that
very
was
important.
one person's opinion out of a group of people, and
Nobody.
it wasn't as though this whole body's like, yeah, I agree. That was one person's opinion that said that. So let's not totally blow that completely out of proportion. Second of all, I think it's really hard. I mean, I like the event. I was supportive of the event coming here from the beginning. I mean, I had to lobby Bob for a couple of months to get him, to see the advantage of having it. And he likes the event now too. It's hard for me, though, to hear you say that we haven't shown support for the event. I think we have, as Deb alluded to. I mean, I think that we have, and I think what you've done with the event is tremendous. What I'm having a hard time understanding is why there is so much pushback now, since the event is well established, has a great following, why there is the pushback now of not paying anything at all to utilize the facility, when, as Deb said, normally that wouldn't be the case.
Wouldn't have
I
happened.
help me understand why there's so much pushback in your mind to that idea, because I'm having a hard time understanding that.
Well, maybe the words are echoing in my ears about what I heard before, but I'm just, I'm discouraged from it, and, if you wanna charge $500, that's taking $500 away from the cause that we, we're doing this for. That it's spay and neuter, and you can go to our shelter right now used to be $44 or 44 dogs was full. Now $20 is full. You know, the stray animals, you know, it's saving taxpayers dollars. It's saving Heath taxpayers, county taxpayers. You know, the shelter is in Heath. You know, there was a time when there was 200 of us over there protesting. You remember that? And you know, things have changed so much, and we're trying to do something good, and you know, that's not the kind of support that I expected.
I think that, you know, like Mark, I support the event as well. You know, I try to be there every time. I couldn't be there the year with my dad because I got there and couldn't get his wheelchair because the entrance was changed, and I about dumped him in the grass a couple times. But I think it's a wonderful thing. The fact that we're now asking for that nominal fee is still much less than what we would charge, you know, for a private party. But it's also something that I think like I said, so the mistake is that we gave it for free when you were willing to pay, just because, as Mark said, we wanted to be supportive and help you get it off the ground. But the city's in a different place now too. You know, you're here every week. You know our budget's not good, and so being able to recoup even a small amount helps the bottom line a little bit. So I don't think it's any way saying we don't support the event. And when you say you don't want to be involved in something you're passionate about, in my opinion, it's like my grandmother used to say, biting off your nose to spite your face. I don't know if that's appropriate to say at a meeting, but that's kind of what it seems like, because you're hurting yourself if it's something you feel passionate about because of something that's less than 10% of what you made last year. And if you don't make any money, if it rains or something, you won't pay anything. So it's a very small amount compared to what is being, the value that's reaped from it, I guess. So,
We've got a lot of other requests
yeah.
all the time for donation of the pool. And that was
Classes
something
or
that we
whatever.
could, when to defend this event, as I recall, if we could respond with, okay, we are collecting something from this event.
Yeah.
In response to these critics that said,
So,
you're
I
doing
mean,
one of the.
think about this,
But
Ronnie.
you're not interested
Earlier
in buying that
last
corporate
week,
sponsorship.
think about this. Last week,
That's been fun.
I got a call, or I'm sorry, Jenna fielded a call from the folks at the Yes Club. Well, if you're familiar with what they do for teenage, kids in the Newark area, help them to give them a place to go and constructive things to do. They asked if they could get a discount on bringing a group of their kids to the pool one day. And I told them no, because we get requests like that from nonprofit organizations that do wonderful work. But the thinking being, if you open up the door for some, how do you say no then to anybody? And this is a group that works with kids in after school and summer programs and things like that. I mean, to Jeff's point a little bit, that was something that just came across me last week, and I'd say, I don't know, Jay, has there been 8, 10 different requests like that from equally deserving organizations just this year?
I remember the developmentally disabled group that wanted just to get a discount or some passes to come
I
in.
had a former employee that was bringing underprivileged folks over that I couldn't utilize the pool, but we couldn't give them and that guy put 30 years into the city, right, Bob? No, he still had, we get millions of those requests.
I mean, I guess, like Deb said, and I understand your perspective, and I know the good work that the animal shelter has done, how a lot has turned around there in the past, 5 years or so. And I know how much money you guys have raised for the spade or neuter program, and that's fantastic. But I don't know. I hope your intent is that you're not somehow belittling or not appreciative of what the city has done in the past
Yes,
and is doing
Absolutely.
for the event.
That's why I just can't understand why you want to disassociate yourself from something that you were adamantly pushing to get started. And I think the city did as much as it could to begin with and to help get it off the ground. And now, you know, a nominal amount of money that was not, Shelley's the one who said $500.
No, she's not.
Who said 500 then?
No, she agreed to 500.
I think it was Jeff that initially came up with the figure.
She was in Jeff's ear right there. It was a conversation.
I just
Jeff
want
did
$10
ours.
a dog.
She agreed to 500.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
But I asked, you know, I just started tossing numbers out. Okay.
And the mayor said 200 or 300. He said, can you
And
touch
I
me?
and I had no idea what her budget was. And I said, this is $500 because there were a lot of other bigger numbers
Yeah.
being bounced around over here. So I kinda hit a number in the middle. I said, Shelley, can you support $500 in your budget? I did say, and she said, yes, it can.
And
You
I,
kinda cut the meeting off
yeah,
right
I
there.
think that,
That's
yeah,
all
I
I'm
think
doing.
that, the other
Well,
thing.
that's good. I'd be glad to.
Part of that.
I can watch it run around.
You know, with all due respect, Ronnie, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, I don't think there's anything we can say or do that's gonna make you feel any better tonight, because, I mean, I'm short of telling you that we're not gonna charge a $500 any further, because that's what you're really going for, and I think we've had this conversation at least 4 times in the last, 3 or 4 months, so I don't know, and again, I say it with all due respect, because I
Well,
think you
what
do a
we were-
great job there.
What we were talking about was a corporate sponsorship. City,
So where we pay back.
yes.
One thing I guess I hope you consider, because like we've said, you're passionate about this event, it's something you've invested blood, sweat, and tears in, is that last year you made $6,500. If you had paid the $500, that would have still been $6,000 going towards this program. If everybody on your committee takes the stance that you're saying you are gonna take, it dissolves and there's no money to go towards
Now,
that.
it'll go on.
Well, but I'm saying,
I mean,
if you think about it in those terms, if everybody felt that way and said, well, we're not gonna do it at all then, because we don't get to keep every penny. So, I hope you'll reconsider that, because I think you have invested a lot and think that's valuable, and I think it's valuable for you, but
It
we
is,
can't
but-
change that
But
for you.
I've made up my mind.
Okay, okay. Anything else under other? All right, with nothing else, we will adjourn at 6:46.
Do you wanna give me a second, or do you wanna just start? I'll go over there and I'll
Yeah,
print
I'll
off
pass
copies
out.
of the.
Mine's
okay.
gonna take
Okay, I'll be right back.
5 minutes at least.
I'll be right back.
What do you wanna do, Sam? 45 minutes?
I